Hey guys, Derek again. I'm here to read another poem. This one is titled Where in the World is Kevin Brophy? Now, for those of you who don't know, Kevin Brophy is an Australian poet. He has had 13 anthologies of poetry published. He is also a known essay writer and a professor at Melbourne University. Hope you guys like this piece. Where in the world is Kevin Brophy? An endless effigy of infinite romanticism, which is promised to endure the constraints of over 1,000 years, is encased within poetic stanzas evermore. For what a poet can teach you in life, their poetry can teach you in death, the truthful touch of their agenda holding sway long after their bodies have succumbed to the bludgeoning of a long-forgotten millennia. Even when all who once loved them with a great allotment of endearing passion have disappeared into the boundaries of death's universe, the name of the one who put pen to paper to express a symphony of regretful love and opinionated torment continued to be remembered, their voice coming through from across the divide as though they never really left at all. But then there are others, I especially, whose memory shall barely be held on to after the shroud of death takes my hand in hers. Much unlike the talented poetic legionnaires of our society, whose professionalism has been passed ever so continuously from reincarnation time and time again, similarly to the cat who has crossed the road for the 9th time, the receiving of another rejection letter sends me into an inescapable delirium of unwonted anguish. In this hour I am supposed to be victorious in my pursuit of the perfect poetic peace. The bitter taste of defeat is all that falls upon my tongue, despite the humble beginnings offered at the orchestration of this passage writ. To ensure the moment after the final stanza falls upon the ears of many is not one of total embarrassment. Treachery and theft may well become the desperate measures of a man, wanting more than he has been offered by the conveyor of our fates. And when I do disappear from the realm of the living spirit, I wish for there to be tears that fall like hail, rather than a total lack of any actual memory. To die sad, alone, and afraid between the covers of a poetry anthology 50 years out of print is not going to be my end, and with the exception of becoming a ventriloquist doll in the hopes of having someone more intelligent than I commandeer this mouth of mine to make certain a word of beauty does fall from between my teeth, I study the works of others to better understand the role I wish to play. There's a poet I know in Arizona who with but one word can captivate enthrallingly the attention of even the weariest soul. There's a poet I know in New York who refuses to use full stops, and by the time you have finished reading, you are lying on the ground unconscious. There's a poet I know in Florida who refuses to read the work of others, for she thinks her ears, which are ever so delicate, are a precious commodity not to be risked on work she considers below par. There's a poet I know in Canada who expressly writes about his daughter, so if tragedy should strike its chord and she be left alone, never will it cross her mind that she was ever without love. There's a poet I know in the Philippines who only ever writes pieces about heartbreak, and yet for a broken heart to happen there must have originally been love, but never is such an emotion spoken of. There are poets I know in England who write only about depression and who obviously need a recalibration of their repertoire. But for all I think I know, the knowledge I hold within me is little more than nothing, for I've read once only the old, renowned for serving in poetry wars long forgotten to time, who are naturally mummified by skin so ancient it is pulled taut across their defeated frames, continue to give a little more of themselves each day to the enduring poetic art, in the hopes it may outlive the celebrity that is Shapal Corby. It is then that I hear of a well-aged white wine which goes by the name Kevin Brophy, and if I were to grow on him like a wart and steal his unfinished masterpiece before it fills a canvas whole, I could call it my own and receive the love of many. For this to reach the epicenter of fruition I shall become the chalk to his cheese, the Hyde to his Jekyll, the asp to his Cleopatra. Once this has happened, and I have been brought the mind of Kevin Brophy, I will come to poetic readings, not to hear the words that once paraded inside the minds of those within the community far more intelligent than I, but to find vixens whose beauty is beyond the apex of my desire, so I may write a poem of their lustrous features and encapsulate and immortalize this gorgeousness for the world to still acknowledge 1,000 years from now. And tonight my poem shall be written about you. Above all else, however, I will write so poem-hating zealots, who dare to criticize what they cannot control, who are fueled by the bleeding heart of literature as they drown their inebriated ignorant existences in Molotov cocktails, are forcibly flogged by a metaphorical chain comprised from the bones of unforgotten poets who died to have their words read by legions in futures they were at the time yet to be conceived. So they hear the better work of others like a bout of tinnitus, and if I were a woman, I would be an Amazon, and I would rip their hearts out from between their barren bones and show it to their face, so they might know the words of beauty which were to be injected into their palpitating muscles by a poet's thoughts, which have now been replaced by the utmost fucking torture of damnation for evermore. This ability I would always secretly owe to Kevin Brophy, whose adept creativity I plucked like the virginity of a fair angel. But when this day arrives, where in the world would he be, this man who would, and I am certain of this, be late even for his own obituary, where he would recite how he, like many a manipulator of the written word, fell foolishly for poetry, like all who are here now. Thank you again for watching, guys. Hope you thought that was not bad. I'll see you sometime in the near future for more readings. Take care until then. See ya.